A few years ago, a bold idea surfaced: tiny drones flying across remote areas, delivering blood, vaccines, and medicine. It sounded like science fiction. Investors? Uninterested? Experts? Skeptical? The consensus? It would never work. Too expensive, too risky, too niche. Fast forward to today, and this so-called pipe dream has become a billion-dollar business, quietly saving lives every single day. From dense jungles to isolated mountain villages, these drones are rewriting the rulebook on medical logistics. So how did a startup no one believed in go from being dismissed as a laughable experiment to partnering with global giants and transforming healthcare in over 5 countries? And more importantly, why is this only the beginning? Here's how one impossible idea went from rejected to revolutionizing an entire industry. There's a crisis happening every day, in places most of us never think about. A mother in rural Rwanda goes into labor, and complications arise. The hospital has the staff and equipment to help, but they're out of blood. By the time a delivery truck reaches them, it's too late. These moments aren't rare, they're tragically common. That's where Zipline comes in. Today, their drones are cutting through impossible terrain, delivering critical supplies in minutes instead of hours. But it wasn't always this way. Before Zipline became the poster child for medical innovation, it was a startup nobody believed in. Investors brushed it off, calling it unrealistic. Drone technology in healthcare: too niche, too expensive, too complicated. Critics said it would never scale, and early attempts were riddled with challenges. It seemed destined to fail, and yet Zipline didn't just survive, it thrived. Today, it's one of the most valuable companies in its space, revolutionizing healthcare logistics in ways no one imagined. But what makes this story incredible isn't just where they are now, it's how they got here. Because behind the billion-dollar success lies a founding story that's equal parts grit, heartbreak, and sheer defiance of conventional wisdom. How did they convince skeptics? What was the breakthrough moment that changed everything? And what does their journey reveal about the future of healthcare and technology? We're about to uncover the origins of Zipline, and it all starts with a vision so daring, it nearly collapsed under its own ambition. When Keller Rinaldo first pitched the idea for Zipline, most people didn't just reject it, they laughed. Drones delivering medical supplies? The skeptics lined up fast. Tech insiders doubted the reliability, logistics experts questioned scalability, and investors balked at the cost. Some dismissed it outright as a hobby project, destined for failure. But Keller wasn't aiming for approval. He was chasing a problem no one else was trying to solve. Every year, millions of lives are lost in rural areas, not because treatment doesn't exist, but because it doesn't arrive in time. Blood, vaccines, and medicine all require rapid delivery, and the traditional supply chain just wasn't built for that. Keller believed drones could be the answer, but believing wasn't enough. The early days of Zipline were brutal. Their prototype drones were clunky, unreliable, and crashed more often than they flew. Each failure drained their tiny budget, and every pitch to investors ended in rejection. By year 2, the company had burned through most of its funds, with little to show for it. But the team wasn't just building drones, they were building trust. They spent months visiting hospitals in Rwanda, listening to doctors and nurses who described what they needed most: speed, reliability, and simplicity. Then, a breakthrough moment. In a high-stakes demonstration, Zipline managed to deliver blood to a rural clinic faster than any other method. Word began to spread, and the Rwandan government, desperate to solve its healthcare crisis, agreed to give them a shot. It was a partnership that changed everything. Even as Zipline took its first small steps, critics continued to doubt its ability to scale. And for good reason. Their problems were only just beginning. Building a single drone delivery route was hard enough, but creating a system that could operate flawlessly across an entire country? That sounded impossible. But Zipline wasn't interested in the easy path. What came next was a series of challenges that would test their technology, partnerships, and resilience to the absolute limit. And failure was not an option. Zipline's mission may have sounded simple: deliver life-saving supplies fast, but turning that into reality required solving problems no one had ever tackled before. For starters, drones designed for photography or military use weren't remotely capable of what Zipline needed. These drones had to be lightweight but durable, capable of traveling long distances over rugged terrain, and, most critically, able to drop fragile medical supplies with pinpoint accuracy. Building such a drone meant starting from scratch, with every component customized for reliability and efficiency. Then came the issue of scaling. Delivering one package to one clinic was hard enough. Now, imagine coordinating hundreds of deliveries a day across dozens of clinics, in a country where internet and infrastructure were inconsistent at best. This wasn't just a tech challenge. It was a logistics nightmare. Zipline developed a unique distribution system, where drones would launch from centralized hubs and return for rapid reloading. Think of it as the FedEx of the skies, but with far less margin for error. And there was zero room for failure. Blood, vaccines, and medicine can't just be delayed. They have to arrive on time, every time. Zipline engineered a backup system for their backup systems, testing every drone and delivery route in extreme conditions. The result? A track record so reliable that even their toughest critics started to pay attention. But technology wasn't the only obstacle. Gaining trust from local communities and governments was just as important. People were skeptical. Would these drones actually help? Or were they just a flashy experiment? Zipline tackled this head-on by embedding themselves in local healthcare systems. They trained local staff, employed local operators, and built partnerships with hospitals and clinics to ensure they delivered exactly what was needed. One of their toughest moments came during their early days in Rwanda, when a drone failed mid-delivery, leaving a rural clinic without urgently needed supplies. It was a devastating setback, but instead of giving up, Zipline doubled down on safety and redundancy, ensuring no such failure would happen again. And then came the ultimate test. How would Zipline handle a full-blown crisis? When COVID-19 hit, countries scrambled to distribute vaccines to remote areas. For Zipline, this was a chance to prove their system worked under pressure. Their drones became a lifeline, delivering vaccines to areas traditional methods couldn't reach, and they did it with astonishing speed. Zipline had gone from a shaky startup to a trusted partner in healthcare logistics. But their work was far from done. Their technology wasn't just helping one country. It was starting to change lives around the world. When Zipline proved it could revolutionize healthcare logistics in Rwanda, it wasn't just a success for one country. It was the blueprint for something much bigger. Governments, NGOs, and healthcare organizations worldwide began to take notice. If drones could solve critical supply chain problems in one region, why not everywhere? One of Zipline's first international expansions was in Ghana, where the stakes were even higher. Ghana's healthcare system faced similar challenges, with remote communities struggling to get timely medical supplies. Zipline set up 4 distribution centers, capable of serving over 2,000 health facilities. The result? Delivery times for blood and vaccines dropped from hours or days to just 30 minutes. Mothers in labor, children in need of vaccines, and patients awaiting critical medicine were no longer at the mercy of outdated infrastructure. But Zipline's impact didn't stop with healthcare. In the US, they found a new challenge. Rural areas where traditional delivery systems failed to meet the needs of communities. Partnering with retail and healthcare giants, they began delivering prescriptions and essential supplies directly to people's homes. In these regions, Zipline's drones weren't just saving lives, they were improving quality of life. What makes this global reach exceptional isn't just the technology, it's the adaptability. Each country and region posed its own set of challenges, from regulatory hurdles to varying terrains and climates. Zipline tailored its approach to fit these unique demands, proving their model wasn't a one-size-fits-all solution, but a versatile system that could scale across continents. The ripple effect of their work is staggering. In 2023 alone, Zipline drones flew millions of miles, delivering over 5 million doses of vaccines, tens of thousands of liters of blood, and critical medical supplies to some of the most underserved areas on the planet. And with each successful delivery, they weren't just saving lives, they were proving that innovation could bridge the gap between privilege and necessity. But Zipline's ambitions go beyond healthcare logistics. They're testing new industries, from e-commerce to disaster relief. Imagine drones delivering essentials to communities cut off by hurricanes or earthquakes. It's a vision that could redefine how we think about global supply chains. Of course, with success comes competition. Other companies are racing to develop similar systems, but Zipline continues to lead the way. Why? It's not just about the drones. Their success lies in their ability to combine cutting-edge technology with an unwavering focus on solving real-world problems. And yet, the question remains, why is Zipline leading the way in tech and healthcare? The reasons will change how you see innovation. When you hear about Zipline's success, it's tempting to assume it's just about the drones. But the truth is, the drones are only part of the equation. What really sets Zipline apart is how they've combined cutting-edge technology with a mission-driven focus that puts people first. While most tech companies obsess over efficiency, Zipline is obsessed with impact. Their systems aren't just about moving packages, they're about solving life and death problems. Unlike traditional delivery models that prioritize convenience for consumers, Zipline built its infrastructure around urgency and precision. When a clinic needs blood or medicine, there's no room for delays, and Zipline has built a system that understands that better than anyone else. Their secret: seamless integration. Zipline doesn't just deliver to a region, they embed themselves into its healthcare systems. From working directly with local governments to training medical staff on how to request and use drone deliveries, they ensure their technology fits into the fabric of everyday operations. This hands-on approach is what makes their model so sustainable, even in places where resources are scarce. And then there's their relentless focus on reliability. Every single drone launch is monitored in real time by Zipline's operations team, with contingency plans for every possible scenario. They've essentially eliminated the last-mile problem that plagues traditional logistics by creating a scalable, self-sufficient system. But here's what really puts Zipline in a league of its own. They didn't just disrupt an industry, they created a new one. Drone-based medical logistics wasn't a thing until Zipline proved it could work. And now, competitors are rushing to replicate their model. Even with this competition, Zipline stays ahead by innovating beyond drones. They're leveraging AI for route optimization, experimenting with payload technologies, and even exploring environmentally friendly solutions like battery-powered drones with reusable components. The result is a company that's as much about saving lives as it is about redefining what tech can achieve when paired with a human-first mission. So, with all of this momentum, what could possibly be next for Zipline? As their influence spreads across industries, their future plans could reshape how we think about logistics, innovation, and responsibility. Zipline's story so far is already incredible, but their vision for the future is even more ambitious. They've proven their ability to deliver life-saving supplies in rural areas, but now they're looking to expand beyond healthcare into new industries and regions. One of their most exciting projects is redefining urban logistics. Imagine a future where drones deliver groceries, e-commerce orders, and even restaurant meals directly to your doorstep, not in hours, but minutes. Zipline is already testing systems that could make this a reality in cities where traditional delivery methods struggle with traffic and inefficiency. But Zipline's ambitions don't stop there. They're also developing disaster relief capabilities to respond to emergencies like wildfires, hurricanes, and earthquakes. When roads are blocked and infrastructure is down, their drones can provide a lifeline, delivering essentials like water, food, and medical supplies to isolated communities. Globally, they're scaling up operations, targeting partnerships in Asia, South America, and even more regions in Africa. Each new location brings unique challenges, but Zipline has shown time and again that adaptability is their superpower. What makes Zipline's next chapter so exciting is that it's not just about growth, it's about inspiring a shift in how we think about logistics and innovation. They've already changed lives in ways that were once unimaginable, and they're just getting started. But here's the big question. Will they be able to maintain their lead as competitors close in? The answer lies in the lessons they've learned along the way, and what they're willing to do next to keep changing the world. Zipline's story proves one thing: bold ideas aren't just worth pursuing, they're essential for progress. If you've been inspired by how they turned skepticism into success and transformed entire industries along the way, you'll want to hear about the story of Gen Z entrepreneurs, redefining the future of business. Click on the video on your screen now to see how the next generation of innovators is challenging norms and building the businesses of tomorrow. You don't want to miss what they're doing to change the game. See you there.